check this out. This is Charlie Kirk tweeted out, "Did the House of Representatives just make parts of the Bible illegal?" To which Tucker replied, "Yes, period, the New Testament." Frank, your take.
Catholicism has been described as hate speech. Organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ACLU, have gone after traditionalists for a long time, waving this banner. But in this case, the use of the term anti-Semitic to describe, effectively to criminalize the Gospels, which is what it can do, it certainly provides for that, is part of a wider context of the weaponization of the term anti-Semitic, which has been described for decades by Israeli scholars such as Professor Norman Finkelstein, and before him, Irving Kristol, who in 1991 pointed out the same tendency to shield Israelis from the actions of their government. You will note that under the threat of prosecution by the International Criminal Court for war crimes, Benjamin Netanyahu responded with the charge that the court itself was anti-Semitic. Now, the former left-wing US diplomat, Chaz Freeman, several days ago said that this effectively styles the entire world that accuses Israel of genocide as anti-Semites, rendering the term not only bizarre, but also meaningless. Now, you will find, if you look into Irving Kristol's 1991 essay on the subject, on the political attitude of the Jews, he said that, in fact, it's called On the Political Stupidity of the Jews. He shows that there was very little, if any, actual anti-Semitism in his childhood in post-war America. And he said that it was effectively ginned up by grievance organizations such as the ADL and the SPLC and the ACLU, who then seek to foment these crises and weaponize them. But he said in so doing, they tend to provoke the reality of anti-Semitism. This is a point that's also been made by the kind of left-wing independent journalist Max Blumenthal, who goes so far to say that the United States is under occupation by Zionism, and that the United States and that the Zionist lobby is the #1 enemy of the American people. For this reason, he, Freeman, Douglas McGregor, and many others, including Norman Finkelstein, have pointed out that the #1 threat to the First Amendment comes from the Israel lobby. And it consistently has. And it's been described as such for 30 years. This is not a novel development, but it is one that may collapse into farce for its obvious overreach. And finally, the measure was said to have been taken in response to anti-Semitic protests on university campuses in the United States. But it was shown in Germany shortly after October the 7th that a third of people cancelled for being present in these protests were themselves Jews. One of the protest leaders at Columbia University, which was mentioned in the preamble to the bill, is himself a Jewish scholar of American jurisprudence and said, actually, the real danger to Jewish students comes from the police. And I believe, and he said, I think there may be another Kent state, referring to the shooting of students during a protest during the Vietnam War. So that's the reality of on-campus anti-Semitism. It appeared at precisely the time that Israel committed a further outrage, killing over 40 children and women by bombing refugee tents. At the same time, suddenly, an anti-Semitic scare happens, with headlines in Britain, such as the British Daily Telegraph, preferring to say things such as, Israeli flag snatched out of hands of student in an anti-Semitic incident. This is a clear coordination with an escalation of genocidal actions by Israel. And it is a depressing thing to note that it is the invocation of one form of hatred that covers up for an active murder of an entire population. That is the reason that the United States Congress has passed this act. It is because it provides cover for Israel and further reaffirms the position of Chaz Freeman and Douglas McGregor that the United States government and its entire political class is basically captive to the Israel lobby.